There exists within the depths of human connection something that transcends the boundaries of logic, something that defies every rational explanation we might attempt to construct. Your person finds themselves caught in this inexplicable force, drawn to you with a magnetism so profound that it seems to operate on a frequency beyond the physical realm. This isn't merely attraction in its conventional sense, it's something far more ancient, far more mysterious. It's as if their very soul recognizes yours across the vast expanse of existence, creating an invisible thread that pulls them toward you with relentless persistence. This magnetic force operates independent of their conscious will, independent of their fears, their doubts, or their attempts to convince themselves otherwise. Even in moments when they feel utterly unworthy of the love you've offered, even when shame and regret weigh heavy on their heart, that pull remains constant, unwavering, calling them home to you. They've tried to rationalize it away, to dismiss it as mere nostalgia or wishful thinking, but the truth continues to emerge from the depths of their being. What they feel for you exists on a plane that ordinary language cannot adequately capture. No matter how far they've traveled in their attempts to escape this connection, no matter how many distractions they've pursued or how convincingly they've tried to persuade themselves that it's truly over, something deeper within their core keeps redirecting their internal compass toward you. It's as if you've become their true north, their spiritual anchor in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. This isn't about simple romantic longing or the ache of missing someone, this is about recognition at the soul level, the kind of knowing that exists beyond the mind's ability to comprehend or control. The bond that exists between you both seems to transcend every logical framework they've ever known. They've experienced relationships before, connections that felt significant at the time, but nothing has ever approached the depth and complexity of what flows between you. There's a gravitational force at work here, something that operates according to laws that science hasn't yet discovered, something that keeps drawing them back into your orbit regardless of the obstacles that life places in their path. Even when pride stands as a barrier between you, even when circumstances seem to suggest that reconnection is impossible, even when the weight of past mistakes feels too heavy to overcome, they find themselves willing to wait. They've discovered within themselves a patience they never knew they possessed, a willingness to endure the discomfort of uncertainty because they understand, perhaps more clearly than ever before, that you are not someone who opens your heart casually or without careful consideration. They recognize now that you've learned to be discerning, that your apparent hesitation isn't born of coldness or indifference, but rather from wisdom earned through experience. You've witnessed enough patterns in human behavior to develop an almost intuitive ability to recognize potential red flags. You've learned to trust your instincts, to move at a pace that honors your own emotional safety, and they've come to respect this aspect of who you've become. Your guardedness isn't a wall designed to keep love out, it's a filter designed to ensure that only authentic, mature love is allowed to enter. This realization has sparked something profound within them. They're beginning to understand that earning your trust isn't about grand gestures or passionate declarations, it's about consistent demonstration of character over time. They're learning to meet you where you are emotionally, willing to honor your timeline rather than pushing for their own preferred pace. This represents a fundamental shift in their approach to love, moving away from the impatient demanding of immediate gratification toward a more mature willingness to cultivate connection gradually and authentically. But this journey toward understanding hasn't been without its painful revelations. At some point in your shared history, this person made the choice to walk away from what you offered. Perhaps they were chasing something that seemed more exciting, more immediately gratifying, or seemingly more aligned with what they thought they needed at the time. Maybe they believed they were choosing stability, freedom, adventure, or validation from sources outside of your connection. Whatever motivated their decision, the path they chose has led them to a profound understanding of what they lost. The people they pursued, the experiences they prioritized, the lifestyle they embraced, none of it has delivered the fulfillment they imagined it would. Instead of satisfaction, they've discovered an emptiness that grows more pronounced with each passing day. The more deeply they immerse themselves in that alternative world, the more clearly they began to see how fundamentally wrong they had been about what would truly nourish their soul. They find themselves exhausted now, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually drained by the consequences of choices that seemed so appealing from a distance. The distractions that once provided comfort now feel hollow and meaningless. The excitement they thought they craved has revealed itself to be superficial and ultimately unsatisfying. There's a weight they carry now, a heaviness born of recognition that they traded something precious and irreplaceable for something that ultimately proved to be worthless. This is perhaps one of the most difficult pills they've ever had to swallow, the acknowledgement that they chose wrong, that their judgment was flawed, that their priorities were misaligned with what truly mattered. Regret has become a constant companion, whispering reminders of what they had and what they carelessly discarded. Yet within this painful recognition, there's also the beginning of acceptance, the slow process of taking responsibility for the consequences of their actions. In previous chapters of your relationship, you were the one who would step in during their moments of crisis. You offered yourself as their emotional sanctuary, carrying burdens that weren't yours to bear, helping them avoid the natural consequences of their choices. Your love manifested as rescue, as unconditional support that flowed freely even when it depleted your own energy reserves. You were their safe harbor in every storm, the consistent presence they could count on to soften the edges of their self-created chaos. But something fundamental has shifted in the dynamic between you. This time, you're not rushing to their aid. You're not offering your energy with the same unrestricted generosity, and there's profound wisdom in this change. You've learned to honor your own needs, to protect your peace, to maintain boundaries that preserve your well-being. This isn't cruelty or indifference, it's evolution, the natural result of your own healing and growth. While they struggle with the consequences of their choices, you find yourself entering a season of unprecedented blessing. The universe seems to be pouring abundance into your life in forms both tangible and intangible. Material blessings are certainly part of this flow, but more significantly, you're experiencing a deep sense of peace, an unshakable happiness, and a powerful awareness of your own worth that radiates from within. You're stepping into your authentic power, walking in alignment with your true purpose, and the distractions that once pulled at your heartstrings no longer hold the same magnetic appeal. Your focus has shifted to what's immediately in front of you, your own healing journey, your continued growth, the opportunities that are blossoming in every area of your life. You're no longer looking backward with longing or forward with anxiety. You're fully present to the richness of your current experience, and this presence is creating space for miracles to unfold around you. From their distant vantage point, your person observes this transformation with a mixture of awe and deep longing. They miss you with an intensity that sometimes takes their breath away. The absence of your presence in their daily life has created a void that nothing else seems able to fill. They're haunted by memories that surface at unexpected moments, the warmth of your smile, the sound of your laughter, the way you made them feel completely understood and accepted. But this isn't simply nostalgia painting the past in unrealistically rosy hues. What they're experiencing goes deeper than missing what once was. They're witnessing your flourishing from afar and recognizing, perhaps for the first time, the magnitude of what they lost when they chose to walk away. They're seeing you not just as someone they once loved, but as someone they deeply respect and admire, someone whose strength, wisdom, and grace inspire them to want to become better. A profound transformation is taking place within them during this period of separation. It's as if they're undergoing a complete death and rebirth of their identity, shedding old versions of themselves that were built on pride, fear, and emotional immaturity. This process is neither quick nor comfortable. It's raw and often painful, requiring them to confront aspects of themselves they've long avoided examining. But it's also necessary, a fundamental requirement for becoming the kind of person who could be truly worthy of someone like you. They're beginning to understand that earning a place in your life isn't about returning to who they were before, but about becoming someone entirely new, someone healed, accountable, and emotionally mature. This realization is both humbling and motivating, challenging them to engage in the difficult work of authentic self-transformation. As this internal process continues, something inevitable is approaching. The secrets they've harbored, the truths they've kept hidden, the full story of their motivations and actions, all of this is moving toward revelation. Whether through their own choice to finally be completely honest or through some form of divine intervention, the complete picture is going to emerge. The time for half-truths and careful omissions is coming to an end. When that moment of full disclosure arrives, you'll find yourself with access to information you've never had before. You'll understand the real reasons behind their past behavior, the emotions they kept locked away, the fears that drove their decisions. This revelation will undoubtedly be significant, potentially changing your entire understanding of your shared history and their true feelings. In that moment of truth, you'll face a decision that only you can make. No one else can advise you on how to respond to these revelations. No one else can determine whether the truth they share is sufficient to bridge the gap their choices created. This will be a moment of profound personal sovereignty, requiring you to trust your own wisdom and intuition about what serves your highest good. Until that moment arrives, it's important for you to know that your person is undergoing a genuine awakening. They're no longer running from their shadow but actively engaging with it, examining the patterns and beliefs that led to their past mistakes. They're discovering the true magnitude of what they had with you and what they lost through their choices. While they undoubtedly hope for the possibility of a second chance, they're also coming to understand that your love is not something they're entitled to simply because they've recognized its value. It's something that must be earned through consistent demonstration of growth, maturity, and authentic change. In the quiet moments when the chaos of life subsides, when the noise of the world fades into the background, the simple thought of you has the power to transform their entire internal landscape. Your memory reaches into the deepest parts of their being, pulling them out of whatever turbulence they're experiencing and into a space of profound peace and light. Just thinking of you transports them to what feels like a heavenly realm, where time moves differently, where pain loses its sharp edges, where everything feels soft and luminous. You have become their anchor in the storm, their sanctuary in a world that often feels unpredictable and harsh. The way you hold space in their heart is unlike anything they've ever experienced before. They've had numerous people enter and exit their life, many who attempted to forge deep connections, but none who could truly reach the protected spaces within their soul. For years, they built walls around themselves, thick, high barriers designed to keep them safe from disappointment, betrayal, and the vulnerability that comes with genuine intimacy. These walls served a purpose for a time, or at least they convinced themselves that they did. The barriers they constructed seemed to protect them from the potential pain of opening their heart completely to another person. But then you entered their life, and without any forceful effort, without pressure or demands, you began to dismantle those defenses. Not through aggressive pursuit, but through patient presence. Not through manipulation, but through authentic love. Not through trying to tear down their walls, but through showing them that it was safe to lower them voluntarily.